Welcome back, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Great start. Great start. Jiminy Christmas. All right. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. My goodness. Just getting stuff going here. Me. All right, let's do this. J-Bone here, Smash This Podcast live post-Raw. Very interesting Raw. I don't think, I mean, I've seen, along with, how many other people watching tonight, I don't think I've seen a Raw like this ever. I mean, like the first two hours plus, give or take a few minutes, was one match. I mean, I sincerely thought for a while they were gonna do the whole match was gonna take up the entire episode of Raw. And as awesome as it was, depending on how they were gonna do it, I felt really bad for the women. I mean, that's cool that the women headlined Raw, because it's the first Elimination Chamber for the women. So I'm glad they got some kind of representation. But, how many people tuned out after the second hour because they were burnt out? And and to be honest, I wasn't paying much attention after that match because it was just like, holy cow. I mean, you either loved it or you hated it. I don't think there was a lot of in between there. I saw both online as far as reactions. I saw some thumbs up and I saw some thumbs down. Now, depending on how this was going to go, like when it started out and it seemed to be going into that first half hour, it right there was like, okay, where are they going with this? It was really interesting. And then you saw how it was going just as long as the first few segments. And it was like, oh, they're really going with this. They're really going to town. So, yeah, that right there, very interesting. So if you're watching live, by all means, I'm watching my chat tonight. Talk to me. Chime in whatever subject you want to discuss with me as far as what all happened tonight. And obviously the star of the first match, and I unboxed these last night. So Mr. Rollins, hats off to you. I mean, everybody really put on a great job in that match. Seriously. But wow, it was great to see Rollins really go above and beyond. I hope he's not legit injured, because man, he really went through a lot in that match, and it looked like his leg was giving him trouble. And it's like, okay, I hope he was just selling the match and what he went through in the match, as opposed to, oh, now his other leg is messed up. It's like, oh man. So crossing our fingers on that one going into the chamber this Sunday. And the end of the match was comical. Kind of had that feeling. The look on Miz's face when Braun's music hit, because he was celebrating, and I was already laughing. As soon as Miz raised his hand, I started laughing. I was like, oh, you are so, oh, you just, no, stop celebrating. Seriously, just stop celebrating, because your world's about to get a lot uglier. So, and I saw people out there tweeting about that last segment of that gauntlet match. saying that Braun beating Miz is going to lead to a match at Mania. And I've heard a couple other people talk about that for whatever reason over the course of the last couple of weeks. I don't know if that was something that came out that Meltzer said or what. If it is, I missed it. And most of that stuff I don't even believe, because they changed their ideas backstage with stuff. I honestly think they put stuff out there to get people thinking one thing, like, oh, this is what they're doing. Just to mess with people's heads. I sincerely think they do that. You know, they'll be like, hey, Meltzer, this is what we're doing. And then he puts it on his show, and then people go, oh, that's what they're doing. Well, Meltzer said so. It must be true. And then they'll completely swerve something. So I don't know. I mean, I think that would be like similar to, I was thinking of it earlier. Oh, when Cody Rhodes faced Big Show, wasn't that for the IC championship? But it was like just a real quick squash match, and Big Show got the IC belt. I think that's what happened. So I can totally see something like that happening at Mania. Braun coming down, boom, power slam, whatever, done, you know? Or they could put on a hell of a match. I mean, would I expect a squash match? Absolutely. But would I hope that they have a good match? Yes, absolutely. Because I want to see Miz do what Miz is one of the greatest out there. Seriously. I mean, love him or hate him, Miz just re-signed a multi-year deal. I don't know any details, salary, time-wise, I don't know. But the Miz has become one of the top entertaining guys in the company. And I love him. I mean, it went from him headlining Mania with Cena / The Rock. Oh, God, was it 10 years ago? When was that? I'm not going to look it up. If anybody knows, let me know in the chat. But that was a long time ago. And I don't think anybody back then thought he deserved it. And I'm probably not alone in that. But he has come so far and done so much, especially with that Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I love him as IC champ, but I would also love to see him get another shot at, the big one, the Universal Championship or the WWE Championship. Who knows? Maybe in a few months after Mania, if we get this draft that I keep hearing little things about, maybe he'll get drafted to SmackDown and, go against Styles or Nakamura or whoever's champ after Mania. Who knows? So, interesting little thing that happened with the women at the end of Raw. I don't want to drag on Raw too much because I got a bunch of other stuff I want to talk about. But it was funny how the Absolution turned on Alexa Bliss, which rightfully so they should, because it's everyone for themselves in the chamber. And this little thing going on between Bliss and Mickie James kind of reminds me of the whole Trish Stratus Mickie James thing. Just a little bit. So yeah, but nonetheless, I'm excited for both chamber matches. The Elimination Chamber is one of my favorite events during the year, and just it's something. To me, it's something so much more than the Hell in a Cell or a normal cage match. It's just, I don't know, since its inception, say that 10 times really fast, I've always felt like, it's been just one of those Yeah, it's a gimmick match, and people don't always like gimmick matches, but it's been like the ultimate gimmick match in a sense, you know? I would put like the TLC match, like a classic TLC match, right up against that, you know, as far as like gimmick matches. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I might do. I don't want to do any predictions in here. I don't know if I'm going to do any. I might do some towards the end of the week. I don't want to do them last minute, but we'll see. We'll see if we could drag a couple special people. Speaking of special people, Styles was supposed to join me for this, but I know Monday Night Raws do run a little late, so he probably got caught up in some family-related stuff or just got too tired. So nonetheless, Styles, we love you and we forgive you for not joining me tonight. We'll catch you down the road. We'll try to get him in here for the predictions if we do that later this week for the Elimination Chamber. What else we're going to talk about? So much going on that I need to catch up. So I'm just kind of cramming everything into one big post-Raw show tonight. Dual branded pay-per-views after WrestleMania. Reading my own notes here. So we have a whole new schedule for post WrestleMania pay-per-views. We are getting, I had them up here. Give me 2 seconds. This guy's not very organized. Yeah, I know. Bear with me, folks. So yeah, after WrestleMania, where is it? Come on, here it is. I love this headline. WWE pay-per-views just got bigger for 2018. There's also rumors that these are going to be going to 4, that like each one is going to be going to 4 hours just so they can cram all the titles in every show and blah, 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 blah. I don't know about that. We'll wait and see what happens with that. But obviously, April 8th is WrestleMania 34. And we have Backlash in May, a month after that. And they're all pretty spread out. It's nice. They're not, I mean, I can't tell you how frustrating it was for a while when I was covering pay-per-views on a regular basis with the Ramblers. And we were doing prediction shows like every 2 weeks. It was just ridiculous after a while. It was like, oh my God, we're doing them again. I mean, it was nice to do the shows, but the build-up just seemed so... I mean, it was one for each brand, but I don't know. It just seemed like it was too much, you know, and I'm probably not alone in thinking that. So we got Backlash after Mania, Money in the Bank in June, July is Extreme Rules, August, SummerSlam, one of the big 4, Hell in a Cell, September, October, TLC, November, Survivor Series, another big 4-1, and wrapping up the year, week before Christmas is Clash of Champions. And so apparently they're doing away with, I'm guessing, I saw something earlier. What was it? Payback and Great Balls of Fire. I'm not, I mean, I really don't care. Like I said, I like the gimmick pay-per-views. Some people don't. I would rather see an Elimination Chamber than a Great Balls of Fire or whatever. It does, as long as we got the big 4 and they make, and they book them great and they put some decent matches in them. I really don't care what falls where as far as, you know, oh, Fastlane was my favorite. Whatever, you know, it's so yeah, kind of cool that they're spreading them out and they're going to have SmackDown and Raw on each one now. So that's going to be very interesting after WrestleMania. Are we going to get Universal Championship matches along with WWE championships on the same pay-per-view, along with IC and, oh goodness, United States Championship. You still got two sets of tag teams and 2 women's championships. Now, I'm going to assume that we're not going to get all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm assuming we're not going to get all 8 of those every single pay-per-view. That would be a little ridiculous. That would leave absolutely no room for up-and-coming rivalries or whatever. And it just, that would be, in my opinion, that'd be dumb. But we'll have to wait and see. So I mean, I could certainly see both championships getting matches at each show, as far as the big ones, especially because I don't envision Lesnar being around much longer after Mania. I don't know contract statuses or anything, but I think he's been around a while, and from what I've heard, they're not expecting him to stick around. Although I do not envision him going back to the UFC. Not the way his health has been. Because even if you're fighting once a year or whatever, that's a different, pardon the pun, but that's a different beast in itself, going to the UFC and putting on that kind of fight. Completely different, thing in its own. So we'll see. But yeah, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this after the fact, leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the whole dual brand pay-per-views coming up after WrestleMania. New Hall of Famer. Saw a lot of different opinions online today. More shock than anything. News trickled out last week, and I was going to touch on this, but I was like, no, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to, because I was this close to talking about it. And I'm like, and if they don't do anything with it, then I'm going to feel kind of stupid wasting my time talking about it. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to wait, see what happens with the class of 2018, and then I'll talk about it. So I'm glad I waited, and now I'm going to talk about it. So, and I'm not laughing at the fact that Jeff Jarrett's in the Hall of Fame. It's more of a that uncomfortable laugh that you see on people do, like ha 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 ha. No. In all sincerity, I'm very happy. Excuse me. I am very happy that Jeff Jarrett is going in the Hall of Fame. What I'm more laughing about is people touching on all the little sensitive things that people love to dig up surrounding it. Like, oh, Kurt Angle is GM and is already in the Hall of Fame. What's his reaction going to be? Or, oh, how many people tweeted at Rebby Sky today because of the whole thing that went down for the fight over the Broken Hardys things over the course of the last year? The fight for the trademark, the thing, and when things went south for the Hardys and TNA/Impact, whatever it was at the time. And from what I heard, that was one of the reasons why Jeff Jarrett was exited from the company, because in the whole relations thing, So yeah, so there's all these little things like, ooh, people pick things and throw crap at the wall and see if it sticks. And hey, are you upset? Or how about you? Are you upset? And I'm gonna take a wild guess, and I haven't seen Rebby Hardy's reaction or anyone else's reaction besides like Triple H. Or it was nice. I'll tell you what was really interesting. WWE congratulating Jeff Jarrett. Also saw congratulations from Impact Wrestling. also saw congratulations from the NWA. So seeing several different wrestling companies / operations, whatever you want to call them, talking about Jeff Jarrett going in the Hall of Fame in a positive way. Because, and I'm not going to talk about all the negative things that have happened or what people blame Jeff Jarrett for and this, that, the other thing. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to focus on the negative at all. Everyone's got their own opinion of Jeff Jarrett, and that's fine. But me personally, and I've said this before, my own personal experience with Jeff Jarrett and what I've seen him do for independent wrestling or running his own company, giving talent, and numerous amounts of talent from all over the world, chances to shine in front of a crowd and or on TV. And his own accomplishments in the ring. Like, okay, for example, him going into the Hall of Fame and his, I'll call it goofy, just for lack of better words right now, his gimmick he had back in the early to mid 90s in the WWF, okay? That's all completely new to me, okay? I stopped watching wrestling from like 92 to like late-ish 90s. So there's about a 5-year period of time in professional wrestling, like the latter part of the big gimmick era and the early part of the attitude era that I really don't. I mean, I see clips and I hear things, but I didn't watch, you know. And when I started watching again, I was watching WCW because all of my favorites were in WCW. So my introduction, honestly, to Jeff Jarrett was him coming to WCW and taking over the NWO. Now, everybody has their own opinions on that too, but that was like my big, like, oh, I hate Jeff Jarrett, you know, because to me, he was like one of the big bad. He was one of the big heels in the company, you know, and that was my personal introduction to Jeff Jarrett. And then WCW folded. You didn't know who was going to show up in the WWF / WWE over the next few years between Goldberg, Mysterio, or was Sting going to show up, or whatever. Fill in the blank. You know, the NWO showed up for a cup of coffee. that was great for a little bit. I'd say a little bit because it kind of fell apart quickly because of habits and injuries and stuff, but whatever. We got The Rock versus Hogan out of it, at least. That's another subject for another time. You know, and then watching Jarrett, what he did with TNA, you know, and my feelings from WCW / NWO Jarrett carried over to TNA Jarrett, especially right after Jeff Jarrett won the championship when they went from, what was it? They went from one TV deal to another, and they were really growing at the time. And he took the championship off of, was it Raven or Rhino? It was one of the two. And some tag team helped him in an indie show. And I can't remember which ones helped him. But anyways, you know, so there I was like, oh, I hate him still, you know. But then appreciating what he did. He was running the company, and then, you know, TNA had a lot of ups and downs over the last decade. But they are always putting out some kind of decent content. And then he was run out of the company, and he came back for the Hall of Fame. And then, you know, he had some personal issues, and I don't think we know all of what went on with Jeff Jarrett at the time, but, you know, he facilitated some decent work relationships with TNA and other companies, and I think that was the start of the whole the international thing. He was always good at that. especially working with AAA and everything. And then he disappeared, went into rehab, and now we're here. So he's had such a roller coaster over the last, 20 plus years. And it's crazy, and meeting him personally at a Global Force Wrestling show a few summers ago. And to this day, that is still the best time I ever had at a wrestling show. So hats off to him for organizing that. It was fun, top to bottom, meeting all the people, meeting, Gallows and Anderson and the Daredevil and Sanjay Dutt, Duggan. Oh, man, I met so many people at that show. Such a Colt Cabana, Milwaukee's own Ciampa. So in that light of things, I have a very positive image of Jeff Jarrett. Like I said, I understand everyone has their own opinion of him and what he's done in the industry or outside of the industry over the years. Don't care. I'm happy about it. It's just, I don't think anybody saw this coming. And when people started talking about it last week, it was like, oh, come on. No, really? Are they really? No. Yeah. And like I tweeted out earlier today, it's like we are 2 months into 2018. And I said this at the end of last year. I'm like, I just got this feeling that 2018 is going to be absolutely crazy for professional wrestling. And 2018 has not disappointed me. It's getting crazier and crazier. It's absolutely nuts. All these little things are happening in professional wrestling, either in the WWE. Lucha Underground Season 4 is shooting in a matter of days. So that's coming back to the El Rey Network. People are jumping ship from this company and going to that company. How many people are doing that? My goodness. New faces here, new faces there. And no, it's not everybody coming to the WWE. There's new faces in Impact Wrestling. There's new faces in Ring of Honor, Bullet Clubs. Oh, my God. What's going on with the Bullet Club? They're all over the place. It's a lot of crazy stuff. And that is my segue into the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight. Rey frigging Mysterio. Where is he going? He shows up at the Rumble. Like I said, crazy things going on this year. Shows up at the Rumble. Looks like $1 million, and people go, wow, he looks great. It's like, well, then you obviously have no clue, and you obviously were not watching season 3 of Lucha Underground, were you? Because he looked like $1 million in Lucha Underground too, which I've talked about on this channel. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the videos. And it was another channel too I was talking about it on too. But anyways. But yeah, it's Rey Mysterio, and people are like, oh, well, he's got to come back to the WWE. It's like, okay, yeah, that's great. But we also don't want the WWE to kill Rey Mysterio. And I mean schedule-wise. Rey Mysterio is kind of like in a status of, I'd put him up there with Chris Jericho right now. He's doing his own thing. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. He can ask for whatever, and he can wrestle wherever. And he's doing it on his terms, his schedule, and he's not killing himself doing it. He can wrestle, and then take a few weeks off and then show up for something else big and take as much time as he wants. He showed up in the Rumble towards the end, to number 27 or whatever it was, blew the roof off the place, and people just lost their ever-loving minds. And now, a few weeks after that, after the fact, it's been a month now, I think, whatever it's been. It's been a month now. And now WWE is putting up what do they call it? Fantasy warfare? I forget what I think they call it a fantasy warfare thing. Kind of like what they did with Goldberg and Brock before they did Goldberg and Brock Part 2. Or maybe they did something else too. I can't remember. They've done a few of them, and they're done well. There's a few people that do them well, but so WWE put up Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Now, those two have faced each other, but not on a level of WWE. And I'm assuming it would have to be on a pretty grand stage if you're going to book something like that. Because AJ Styles, and I don't think I'm alone in saying this, is, I would say, one of the top 3 athletes in the world today when it comes to professional wrestling. And I don't know where you put Rey Mysterio on that list, but he is definitely a legend. You know, I think he's like in another category just because of all the luchador stuff he's done. And he's had such classic matches with everyone and anyone. But so I don't know if you put him top 5, do you put him top 10? Everyone has their own opinions as far as where you put Rey Mysterio. And I would definitely put him in a top 10, considering he's still active and he's been around for 20 plus years. I don't know when he started. He had at least 15 in the WWE, I think. Was it 2000? Something like that. And he went from WWE to Lucha Underground. He went to the temple. Speaking of the temple, I tweeted out earlier tonight, I said, when it seemed like the gauntlet match was literally going to turn into an all-night long match a la Lucha Underground, I said, I would like to introduce you to the man who booked this all-night long match, Dario Cueto. If you watch Lucha Underground, you get the joke. If you don't, you're going to be scratching your head. Dario Cueto runs Lucha Underground on the TV show. Anyways. So yeah, Rey Mysterio going to New Japan, and he's facing, oh my God, who the hell is he facing? Jushin Thunder Liger, a legend, an absolute legend in Lucha Libre, Japanese wrestling. He's run the gauntlet as far as all sorts of different wrestling. So yeah, he's a legend in his own. And to have the two face off, I know there's some people that are like ecstatic about it. And there's probably some people that don't get it, that are probably like, it's two old guys facing off. Yay. But I think they're both healthy enough that they could put on a hell of a match. Now, this of course is different than, say, a match like Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. You have two very polarizing, extreme, charismatic characters in Jericho and Omega. Whereas over here in Rey Mysterio and Liger, you just have two very good professional wrestlers that have, I would say, legendary status. They're very charismatic in a sense, but they're not like, it's not like watching Kevin Owens face off with Sami Zayn. You know what I'm saying? So, so it still is something special to watch, but it's different, you know? So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to be tuning in for that. You can watch it live on Access TV. You don't even have to order it on the New Japan thing if you're not a, but you know, and that's something I hope to do someday is get on the whole, what's that called? New Japan Network, whatever it's called, New Japan World. Because there is some really, really good wrestling that goes on there. I don't watch all of it, and I don't like getting up at 3 a.m. to watch professional wrestling. I like to watch it live, but whatever. So yeah, Rey Mysterio in New Japan is very interesting. It's a hot topic. What's going to be more interesting is to see where it goes after that. Is he going to do more, or is it a one-off? I don't think that's been said yet. I would certainly like to see more. I would like to see, oh gosh, let's pick a couple names out of a hat when it comes to New Japan guys you'd like to see Rey Mysterio in the ring with. Will Ospreay. I don't know if they've ever faced off. If they have, I haven't seen it. And like I said, I know he faced off with AJ Styles when WWE was teasing it, but it was like somewhere in the UK, I think, when they faced off a couple years ago. It was before AJ came to WWE. Who's the he was a IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champ. Oh, I can picture him. I can't think of what the hell his name is. The Back to the Future kid. Someone put it in the chat or the comments. I can't think of what the guy's name. Kushida? I think it's Kushida. Would love to see Mysterio versus Kushida, or any of the newer up and coming hot, junior guys. Liger obviously being a legendary junior heavyweight, whatever, cruiserweight, whatever you want to call them. Each company has their own definition of smaller wrestler. Yeah, and that's one thing on a bittersweet thing is I don't think Rey is going back to Lucha Underground. If he is, I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's only to kill off his character in a non-match related segment. Because last time we saw excuse me, last time we saw Rey on Lucha Underground, Matanza took him down to the belly of the temple, locked him up behind in the cell right next to Matanza. So, but if you were a fan of Lucha Underground and he showed up at the Royal Rumble, that was our first response was, how did he escape from the temple? That was the running joke there. I said that. I heard a couple other Lucha Underground related podcasts out there say the same thing. It's funny. But you're not going to get it unless you watch the show. If you don't watch the show, you're going to be like, huh? Anyways, so so that's going to pretty much wrap up this one. Thank you for joining me. Styles will get you on here ASAP. You're supposed to be on tonight, but that's okay. I forgive you. I love you. That's why I bring you on here, because I love Styles. And speaking of Styles, Destroying Kayfabe should be coming back within the next week, possibly within the next 24 hours. I don't know. We'll see. And I might even be joining him for that. Oh, wait. No, it came back last week. Anyways. Oh, my God. It's senior moment. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up tonight's thing. If you're new to the channel, by all means, if you like what you're seeing here, go check out other content on the channel. Give the channel a sub. Give the video a like. And ring that bell for notifications if you really, really, really want to see more content from me. Do it. Do it. So, for Minnie Rollins, I am J-Bone. This is Smash This Podcast. We bid you adieu. Good night.